The best new play is astounding. It's Becoming Eve. And it is a remarkable new play written by Emil Weinstein, directed with emotional precision by Tyne Raffaelli, and produced by New York Theater Workshop, which has spent 5 decades introducing bold and challenging new works by visionary artists to its audience, who by now expect that they're going to be in for something extraordinary. And their expectations were met with this season's best new play. Weinstein's play, based on a memoir by Abby Hava Stein, who is here today. It's Abby's story, tells the astonishing, I can't believe this is actually true. But if it weren't true and somebody came to you with it, you'd say, I don't know. I don't know if people are going to believe it. But the astonishing and heroic story of Hava, who was born into a prominent Hasidic rabbinical family that traced their lineage back to the Baal Shem Tov. In Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and I'm not talking about the happening in hip Williamsburg. I'm talking about, as Weinstein puts it, the hermetically preserved 19th century village of Hasidic Williamsburg. Haltingly at first, and then with increasing conviction, Hava decides to embrace and declare her authentic self, despite the bafflement and opposition and rejection coming from family, community, convention, and tradition. Tommy Dorfman gives a sensitive and commanding performance as Hava, and Brandon Uranowitz is funny and compelling as the anxious and earnest progressive rabbi who Hava enlists to help make her case to her father, an ultra-Orthodox rabbi, that the existence of a woman's soul in a man's body is in fact confirmed in rabbinical commentaries and traced to biblical sources. The two of them engage in theological debate, with Richard Schiff, confident and imposing as Hava's serious and self-confident father, and the debate is interspersed with memories from the past in which Hava, as a child and a young man, is played by puppets created by Amanda Villalobos and voiced by Tommy Dorfman, and these puppets look and feel and sound entirely alive. Hava in life and in the play does not manage a reconciliation with her father or her traditions, but in this moving and beautiful play, we see Hava choose both compassion and liberation, and the beginnings of what will be an extraordinary path as a transformational leader and a rabbi in the wider world. And we're delighted that the real-life Hava, Abby Hava Stein, is here and celebrating with us today. Please help me welcome, to accept this year's award for Best New Play, Patricia McGregor, Artistic Director of New York Theater Workshop, and Emil Weinstein, the playwright and author of Becoming Eve. Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. I'll hold this for the moment.
If there's really 8 minutes, my goal is to say a minute and a half tops. The first 45 seconds is thank you to people in this room, and the second 45 seconds is thank you to people who made this play. My daughter, this morning, when she sees me a little more dressed up, she knows I'm going to something fancy, and she overheard me talk once about what fancy rooms are. And with a friend, I said, apparently she overheard me saying, it's either a love sport or a blood sport. Rooms we go into when we dress up often feel like either love sports or blood sports, and we know the rooms when they feel like blood sports. And we know the rooms when they feel like love sports. And Off-Broadway has been a love space for me for 25 years. I have to thank the Off-Broadway Alliance for celebrating with love. There is so much love in this room. I could thank every table. When I look over at Helen Shaw, I think about how she talked about Mona Pernod's piece and the haunting way in which that was manifested. When I look over here and see Linda Chapman, who with Jim Nicola and Melanie Joseph for over 25 years championed a whole range of emerging artists, including me, and built the New York Theater Workshop and the Off-Broadway scene in such incredible ways. I even think of David Stone, who I've had conversations with LaShans about the way in which the bridge of Broadway and off-Broadway and the mentorship has been incredible. So this off-Broadway scene is incredible, and it needs more love sports spaces. So all of those little sinewy connective tissues are really important. We all know how hard the times are, but we all know how important the times are. I might have gone over 45 seconds. Okay, getting back to the love space for this particular piece. Somebody once said artistic directing is mostly saying yes, no, and thank you. You say a lot of painful no's. You say hopefully enough thank yous, but then sometimes you get to say some incredible yeses. So the incredible yes I got to say, because I'm looking over at Rachel Silverman and Aaron Malkin, who are my associate artistic directors, they get plays on the top of the pile. So I can read them and say yes. When I read this script, I was amazed, not only by Abby's story, and then the adaptation of Abby's story. I think we need a lot more arguments for places where text and family and homes can make the case for love instead of exclusion or hate. And this case was made in such an incredible way. So I'm about to bring up Emil, who will speak more eloquently than I can, but I have to say a few more thank yous. Thank you, Josh Luxembourg. Originally this piece was gonna be at the Connolly Theater, and because of transphobia, it couldn't be at the Connolly Theater, and Josh Luxembourg said a really powerful no. He actually left the Connolly Theater to join us at New York Theater Workshop because he believed. And so sometimes we say some yeses, but sometimes we say some powerful no's to stand up, shoulder for shoulder in a muscular way. Caitlin, Maya, Jasmine, the incredible Tommy Dorfman, and Abby, you are my heart, you are my love, I will fight for you and sing for you forever and ever. And Emil, multi-hyphenate. If you don't know, writer, director, extraordinary, human and artist. I'm so grateful that you said yes to us. And we will continue to try and find ways to say yes to you. I might have gone over, but here you are.
I'll be super fast. Firstly, thank you so much for this. I grew up on the Upper West Side. Nikki Perizzo has known me since I was a little girl, quite literally. And I am just a kid whose mom was a drama teacher and a playwright, and I came up watching all of you, and a huge fan. And coming to the theater, New York Theater Workshop, I mean, I manifested that one day I would have a show open there, and there were so many twists and turns along the way, and opening a show in New York, world premiere that is about trans people and Hasidic Jews and puppets in 2025, it was really scary. And I think in a lot of ways, trans people, we don't like to be called brave all the time, but we're very brave, partially because we have no choice, partially because we were the hottest, most magical freaks you knew in elementary school who disappeared. And, we're not going to disappear anymore. And, I think we're in this huge time of transition for all of us. We're all transitioning, and being trans is very much like just being a human being, but sexier. No, just kidding. Everyone's sexy. But I think in making this play, we got to practice coming out every night, which is one of the scariest things you can do, and just practice making people uncomfortable and then letting that be okay, and sort of all sitting in feeling like we all disagree at the same time in a theater together, and we're all pretty similar, even if we have different political values, and we all can see each other as people. And and I also think, from a business perspective, double the audience when everyone disagrees. But I think theater is just a profoundly important thing. I think it's only going to become, and it's because I'm a theater kid, but I think it's only going to become more and more important when live interaction is rarer and rarer, when we don't know if our TV show was written by AI or whatever. Like, we have to come to the theater, and I'm just so inspired by all of you and so grateful to be invited to this room and to be at Sardi's, which I think is the most glamorous place in the world. And yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.